So as you can see on my screen, this is our home screen, what the users will see when they first log in, and it has some metrics here. So walking through the process, typically your invoices are coming in via email, and we directly connect to that email box and pull those attachments. They go through an OCR process. So for example, this invoice came in on an email, it was extracted, and then our OCR tool is pulling off all of these keywords, which is really doing a lot of the work so your users don't have to manually key in those data points. Once the OCR software has been ran, it's going to kick off a DocLib workflow. It's going to go through several different checks. Typically, a lot of our clients see anywhere between 75 and 85% of their PO workflows going through automatically. So what I'm going to show you today is that 10 to 15% of invoices that will require your users to perform some sort of interaction, and just to show how simplistic it is and show the direct integration within QAD. This is what I have in my workflow, and I just need to click on and start going through them. So this one is a rent payment. It is a no PO invoice. Based on our rules of our delegation of authority and our approval matrix, we have already filled out who this approver should be automatically. This could be set manually if you don't have a particular way of selecting approvers, or it can be done automatically. You can see we have our invoice template here and all of the data that was done through the OCR showing up. Down here, we have auto-populated the GL distribution line. So a lot of times for a rent payment or, an electric payment, you're coding it to the same account each month. We can save off that data and then have it to where you are not manually keying that in each time. To show the integration here, we are checking to make sure this is a valid combination. So if I save this here, it is going to error out because this invoice requires a cost center. So it is directly looking in QAD to make sure that this is a valid combination. This was done in real time. If someone went in and edited this account number to not require a cost center, as soon as that change was made in QAD, then the change would be reflected in DocLib. So there is no lag time there. Once this one is ready, to click approve and submit after we fill in our cost center. And this will go to the approver. So for the approver, they're going to see the invoice, the accounts that it's been coded off to. And once they click approve and submit, that's going to create the transaction in QAD. So this standard scenario, we only have one approver. We can allow to have multiple approvers. If it's based on the dollar amount, you could have as many approvers as you are. We typically just mirror what your current business is doing. As we go through the PO workflow, we're just going to touch on a few key things. We're going to do different checks, like making sure that PO number is correct and found in QAD. If not, it will require a user to review. Typically, you don't have a lot of these in your workflow unless a supplier has a typo on their invoice. And then all you would need to do is simply correct to the correct PO and click approve and submit, and it will continue processing. We have an option for non-inventory POs to have the receipt created with using DocLib here. So this example, this came into AP, and this is for 7 AV cords that maybe the IT department ordered. It's not necessarily coming in through shipping and receiving. So the AP user will be able to look at the invoice and determine who to route that to, who actually is going to be like, yes, I did get this. This helps saves time, so you don't have to email your receivers and have them just, hey, receive this in because I did get it. You're actually sending it to the person that get the items and is going to verify that that item or service is ready to receive in QAD. So after that is assigned, it will go to that user, and in their screen, they will be able to see the information, the invoice, and then enter, yes, I did get 7, and click approve and submit. This is going to create the receipt within QAD and attach it to this workflow, and then it will continue on in the workflow process. One thing to note is a user to do this does not need necessarily a QAD license. The receipt is being done through QAD. They would just need to be able to log into DocLib and do that receipt and verify they got that quantity of 7. So this isn't a process that you have to use. It's easily able to hook up. And then also you can choose to not use this process. If you don't, it's going to go through the same process as our inventory PO invoices will go through. And that is, first we will go through a system check note. So as many people in, the AP know, like the day you get this invoice is not the day that the items were received. And maybe your users are going in to the receipts to view if it's been received, to see if they can go ahead and enter it, or maybe they're entering the supplier invoice in QAD, getting to the matching screen, and that's when they realize the receipts aren't there and they have a no allocation record just hanging out there until it's received. With DocLib, all that work is going to be taken away because our system is going to check for receipts in QAD for a time window that you provide. So if you want us to check QAD 3 times a day for 10 days, we're going to do that. And then once it's outside that window of time, it will be in a user's queue to review what the next steps should be. At that point, they're able to add any attachments. Maybe they have a proof of delivery they can drag into here, or browse to add documents and send this over to a receiver and add a comment of, hey, we received a proof of delivery. There's no receipts in QAD. Can you review? And then that would put it in the receiver's queue to go in. They would say, okay, they would see the comments you left, go in. Once they enter that receipt, click approve and submit, and it goes on its way. The last check that we're going to do is for a variance. So in this example here, we have a variance of $54. You can see what we're being billed for. Down here, we have our voucher detail, where here is a voucher quantity of 5 that got matched. However, we're billed for 15. So just to show the user integration here, if I go in right now to create a receipt in QAD, and I'm gonna just enter the packing slip as 4 A's. I'm gonna receive in that quantity of 10. When I go back into DocLib, I can actually view and pull up all of the open receipts here. If I scroll down, and here you see this is the receipt I just entered, I can add it in. So this is just to show our real-time integration with QAD. We're directly mirroring what is happening in there, and there is no lag time. So you can see we can add in receipts. If this one was a price difference, we could change the voucher price as you can when you manually enter it, and as well as forcing it maybe that you need a buyer approver here. After there is no variance, you would click approve and submit. So you're only going to have an invoice in this queue if it's outside of your threshold. So if $54 is within your threshold, it would have went through. Typically users have like a percentage and a dollar amount combination that they're comfortable with. A lot of invoices come through and you might be a few pennies off. Currently, if you're manually entering it, you have to do a manual posting line to code that GL for that variance. In DocLib, you give us those rules, and then we basically do that automatically for you. So it's really saving a lot of time, as well as for your freight that comes in that might not be right now. Your users are probably manually keying in the GL for freight. So we just take whatever rules you're doing and we do that automatically. So you're saving so much time just not having to manually key in everything. And then you're still getting the powerful workflow processor that's checking to make sure that everything is verified. The three-way match is done before the invoices are ready to pay. So typically a lot of questions that I get is if there are certain rules. Since you can see how integrated we are with QAD, we can pull in any information from QAD. So if you want us to pull in the requester or the buyer and create a rule where we automatically have things go to a certain user, if there is a variance, we can certainly do that. If you have rules for certain supplier types that they follow a certain process, then we can directly query off this supplier type and perform a code rule that will be done automatically. So just know, like, as you can see, the integration with QAD, we can pull into any table and pull in whatever information that's going to be pertinent for your business to run successfully. With that being said, I'm going to conclude our video here, and thank you so much for watching, and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you so much.